Instagram people or whoever is saying that quality over quantity, but I think I'm saying community over absence.
This here is like me stepping out of my comfort zone where I have to now
it's about you now.
No, and I don't like it.
And when you do it in a way that's aligned with your brand and your messaging and aligned with who you are and is authentic, people will connect with you. Some people will not connect with you, and then you find your people and everything works out.
Okay, welcome to the Mapuana Read Show. Today I am so excited because we have my girl Sammie. She is the person who runs my social media. She is amazing at all the wonderful things she does. She runs the podcast. She keeps me on track. She texts me, what am I supposed to be doing? Because honestly, there's days where I'm just like, what am I doing again? And then I get my text and she's like, I need these videos from you. This is what I need. Get on social media. This is what you need to record. And then if I don't do it, then I get a reminder text like, hey, let me know when you're going to send me that video again. And it needs to be 60 seconds. You just talk about these topics. And it's basically so great for me because it just helps me keep on track, because I am someone who does not want to be on social media. I do not want to be in front of the camera. But I honestly feel like you help get me out of my comfort zone. And I'm so comfortable with being behind the camera. But you do it in such a beautiful way where it feels like it's safe. There's no judgment. And then, I know in your head you're like, girl, give me the fucking video. Where are you?
No.
I've been texting you 5 times. Where's that video?
You're busy, I know.
But welcome to the show, Sammie. Welcome in front of the camera. So she's always in the back of the camera. So that's why she's now wearing the headphones, because somebody needs to manage the audio here.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Yeah, we get to do our first episode together after we've done like so many together technically.
22 so far.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Tell me a little bit about you. There's something that I like to call the job. I know you already know this, but for the listeners who are just turning in for the first time, there's something I call the job, the JOB, the journey on becoming. So take me on your journey on becoming, on how you came to social media and how to run, you're running your agency and stuff.
Yeah. So I've been on social media since it existed, just for fun and socialness and all of that stuff.
Which I feel so old now because the phone was invented while I was alive, even the internet. Yeah. So I'm like,
let's not think about it.
Okay, you're on it your whole life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was on it my whole life, but it really showed me my passion for specifically video editing. When I left college in my senior year, I decided to be a real estate agent, and that was the first time that I used social media for business specifically. It is a free marketing tool, so I was like, okay, I'm starting off real estate with no money, part-time job at Bloomingdale's. So this free marketing tool, get my clients through this. Instagram was the one I primarily used and practiced with. I ran the Instagram for the Keller Williams Young Professionals community and was the communications chair because I just loved it. I loved connecting and social media and everything. And then left real estate because I'm not competitive and because I'm very emotional, and it's an emotional market here in Hawaii with the prices and the local families and competition, not just with agents, but from buyers and listers. And so then I joined Oak and Pine, and that's what I met you through. But Oak and Pine, I helped with their Instagram, and I focused on a lot of Instagram focused things for whatever reason. And people started coming to me and asking me questions, and I started doing one-off consultations, and people were implementing the advice. And when they did, they would see results. And I was like, okay, this is really fun. I'm so happy this is working. So yeah, and then from there, I decided under Oak and Pine, I was just an employee, and I was helping out with the business. And then I was like, I need to grow and I need to do my own thing. So I left Oak and Pine earlier this year and decided to branch off and to start my own business because of women like yourself, entrepreneurs that are making it happen, expanding, doing big things. And so I decided to give that a shot as well and launched Sam's Social Agency, booked out in like 2 weeks, really fast.
So crazy.
So Yeah, and thanks to you and, like, all of my other clients that I was able to launch it and get booked out as fast as I have been and be able to start focusing on the expansion part, so yeah.
Yeah. I just remember, like, I remember when I don't even think I had hired you yet, or I might have. I think I have actually just hired you maybe for the podcast, and you were
Mhm,
saying like, "Hey, do you wanna have a podcast Instagram?" And I
mhm,
was like, "Oh, I don't know. Should I? Should I not?"
mhm.
And I was, like, thinking, like, I don't want to have to figure out to grow another Instagram because just trying to figure out my personal
Yeah.
Instagram is kind of a lot. And you're like, "Okay, let's just try this out." So you're like, "I'm trying to do it." You're like, "Well, go ahead and set up a new page." And I was like, "Okay, new page. What do I do?" And you're like, "Actually, just give me your phone. What do you want to call it?" I was like, "I don't know, the Mapuana Read Show." And you're like, "Okay." I handed you my phone, and I think I was just like, I turned around to do something else, and like within 5 minutes, you handed it back, and you go, "Here you go. You have a new Instagram page called the Mapuana Read Show. This is this. This is that." And I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah, I
yeah."
think that was before we were even working
No,
together.
and I think after that, I was like, "I need you. Don't ever leave me. Like, please help me run this,
Yeah.
manage this social media."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, that was funny because yeah, I think some things become second nature because I also have Book House Hawaii, and
Yes.
I started the Instagram for that and run it as, like, a business Instagram. So, business social media has become, like, second nature, right? So,
Yeah.
I better be able to do it fast. It's, like, what I'm supposed to be good at, so
No, and you're so great at it.
thank you.
Yeah. Talk to me about the importance of social media.
Yes, okay. The importance of social media, specifically for business owners,
Yeah.
is first of all, everyone's using it. Everyone's doing it. You gotta get in. And it's free, which is big, although you can do the paid versions and find, different outcomes with that. But every business pretty much has an Instagram,
Yeah.
has some form of social media. And now that's where people are looking. People are
100%.
looking on
Yeah.
Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook for whether or not they should interact with the business, whether or not they should hire somebody, buy something from this
Mm.
person. So having a presence and also having a very clear presence on in terms of who are you? What's your mission? What do you offer? And is this going to be a good decision to work together or to purchase from you? It's important because if I like find a restaurant, for example, or
100%.
a
That's me.
cafe,
Yeah.
right?
I'm like, let me go and check this out.
Yeah, you want to see like what they're posting about, what people are
Yeah.
saying about them.
Yeah.
There's the social element of social media marketing, and we confirm what we think about businesses and get opinions and everything through strangers most of the time,
Yeah.
but through this huge community of the internet that is telling us their thoughts. And
Yeah.
so, for your show, for any other businesses, you want to be able to accumulate a community where people can spread their positive thoughts about your
Mhm.
business, and then it spreads and spreads and spreads. Your audience grows. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so what about like for me, I don't really like to always be on camera all the time. Do you think it's
Mhm.
important for the business owner to always be on or to show their face at
Yeah.
least some of the time? Because I don't like it. I know I have to do it. Well, hello, I
Mhm.
have a podcast and now it's a
Yeah.
YouTube, so I have to do it. But how important is it for a business owner to have their face being seen? I feel like it's important because don't you feel like you kind of want to know who's creating this? Like, who's the person behind this business?
Yeah, I think this has come up a lot, and there's this whole concept of faceless accounts, where it's
Yes.
just accounts where there's no face behind it. It's either like just the products or just hands or something. Um,
That's so weird, just hands.
yeah,
They're
well,
like hands and feet and
yeah,
like
yeah.
are doing like weird things.
I don't know what they're selling, but over here we're selling connection, and that's like the whole point of showing your face. And especially with something as personal as a podcast show where people want to come back to listen
Yeah,
to you, they want to connect with you. And that means seeing your face, looking in your eyes, and like
right?
getting to know you as much as they can through a screen. And that goes with any business. And people want to connect with other people, especially on social media, because it's a social platform. So then they want to be connecting. They want to connect
Mhm,
with the owner of the business or the team
mhm,
that's running the business, and they want to put a face so that when they're purchasing something, it feels like they're
mhm,
purchasing it from someone they know, from a friend.
mhm,
They're supporting someone that they connected to, whether or not they ever met them in person. But yeah,
mhm.
showing your face is pretty important. I know it's challenging for a lot of people who aren't comfortable with it. And I think my advice most of the time for people who need to do things that they don't want to do is realigning with your priorities, right? Like if your goal is to have a huge podcast that, changes tons and tons of lives internationally and just blow up, like you got to show your face.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to show up for your audience.
Yeah.
And if that's your goal and if your priority is to make that happen and be successful, then you show up, and you have been. You have been, and you have always shown up, right? But I think sometimes now you're showing up way more, and so it's different
Yeah.
levels. Some people have never shown up, and it's the first time in front of the camera. But I think for anything that you don't want to do in life is how much does it matter to you? And if it matters enough, then you'll do the thing. You'll do the thing that gets you to where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
baby steps. I did an activity with my social media program where we came together in person, and I was like, okay, set up your phone and sing. And just
What? Okay, no,
sing.
I'd be like, I'm out. Like, I'd be like, I think I'm sick. I have to go home now.
Yeah. No, I was literally like, yeah, I was telling them to sing. I was telling them to dance. I was telling
Oh
them
God, girl,
to,
all my fears right there, all
yeah,
of them. I'll be like, A, B, C, D, E, F,
but
G. That's my
yeah,
song.
yeah. See, beautiful. And you just done it on camera. So
Oh
there you go.
God.
No, and I was like, you don't even have to post it, right? Because
Yes.
this doesn't
Okay.
align with your
Okay.
business, right?
Yeah.
Why are you singing? Nobody cares. But it's for you to get comfortable. And
Yeah.
I tell the more important part, honestly, is watching it back. Because that's where people have
God.
the issue is looking at themselves doing
Yeah.
something on camera. I'm going to cringe so hard when I watch this video of
Yeah.
this podcast. Because
Yeah.
that's just kind of how it goes. And it can go away for some people. Some people don't have it, or some people it's degrees of it. But
Yeah.
practicing getting comfortable on camera and listening back to yourself or seeing yourself is super important. And so those are little activities that you can do. The other one, more business oriented, is giving your elevator pitch on camera,
Okay.
or just talking to the camera, which is a great thing that we should do. But like just talking about your story.
Okay.
And just doing it over and over and over
Okay.
again,
And then you
because
just get comfortable
you
with
do.
it.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
listening back to it, watching it back. And maybe you're like, wait a minute, I like, positioning
Yes.
myself this way. And then
Yeah.
you become more confident because you've realized,
Yeah.
okay, if
What
I,
you like and what you don't
yeah,
like. Yeah.
exactly. So that's what it's for. If
Yeah.
specifically for people who don't like showing up on camera, just practice, and you don't have to post it. And even this is another one I've gotten, because Instagram you can do lives and Facebook you can do lives.
Mhm.
I've gone live and then I've deleted it after.
Okay.
So like
I don't think
everything,
I've ever gone live.
right. It can be scary because you're
Yeah.
live. But it's like, first of all, who cares,
Yeah.
Like, if
Yeah.
somebody cares, do you really want them in your about, like, this hair being out of place? I'm, like, freaking
Right.
out right now about this hair, but if somebody cares about this hair, like,
Yeah.
I don't really need to know them.
Yeah. You're just not my audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're always gonna speak to your audience, even if
Okay.
your hair's a mess, even if you have no makeup, even if your bra accidentally is showing for an entire
Okay, I
video.
know these are all for me right now, because I was supposed to have a different top on, and I was like, no, Sammie, I can't wear that top because I have a dark bra on. I'm just gonna see through it. She's like, no, you're fine. I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear this same top again.
I think, yeah, I just tell people they're fine all the time,
Oh
because I think
God.
stopping the overthinking as soon as it starts is better than like
Yeah.
letting it go on. So
Okay, but then I think to myself, like, am I gonna watch this video and all I'm gonna see is my dark bra?
right. But then,
Maybe, but who
yeah.
cares? Just
So that's the
keep it
part,
moving.
whoopsie. That's the part afterwards where you're like, okay, you watch it back and you're like, okay, I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. Because
Okay.
why do we care? Because, not
Maybe
to get
okay, we
like,
care because of judgment. We don't want to
right.
be judged, but
Yes.
maybe dig deeper. And why
But
don't you want to be judged?
yeah, and who's judging us?
Yeah.
People that we care about, Like,
Yeah.
I can see if it's one thing where you're like, there's something bad happening, like we're
Yeah.
saying bad things and then people are judging us for the things that we're saying because they're bad. That's one thing, right? But like, I think specifically with appearance, we want to show up the best we can. We both put effort in, right?
Mhm.
And if
Mhm.
there's a mistake that we can't fix, like we can't fix it. It's okay.
Mhm.
And the people that are going to get upset about it, like,
Mhm.
okay,
I
that's
said
fine.
this in my first episode, and it was something about you just need to start somewhere, and I know I'm only gonna go up from here. So, like, on my first episode, I was like, "This is probably the shittiest episode ever." Like, the mic's I don't let's hope it's on, and
Mhm.
things are only gonna get better from here, but you have to start somewhere
Yeah.
in order to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So, like, even if you're gonna see I mean, my dark bra through my light color shirt.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just keep it going, just keep in motion. But
yeah,
it's when you stop and you pause
yeah.
and you freeze that sometimes it's just like, now I'm like stuck here and I just can't move.
Right,
Just keep
yeah.
the ball rolling, just keep moving.
Specifically with the bra thing though, like, that's fine because like, you wanna be conservative, like, you have your values as
Yes.
well, right? I think when we were talking about your hair not being
Yes.
I think, to what Brittany said, our mutual friend was saying, like, sometimes when you look good and you feel good, it
Yeah,
does affect the output,
it does.
but at the same
Yeah.
time, you did the thing already, right? You did
Yeah.
the podcast, it's with your hair not being, the way that you want it, but it's
Yeah.
done, the podcast is still great, you know? And
Yeah.
people aren't gonna be like, "Oh, her hair's ugly, so I'm not gonna watch,"
Yeah.
right? And if they are, or if anyone's saying that, like, we don't need them to watch.
Right? I know that Jess talks about, Jess is our mutual friend. She also talks about like how you say things and the way you say
Mhm.
things are gonna land with different people different ways, and who it's meant to be for, it will be for, and who it's
Yeah,
not meant to be for, it just won't be for them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So, again, yeah, the bra thing, like, yeah, we don't really wanna be kinda
Yeah.
going
At
all
least I
out
didn't
there.
show up in only bra,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'cause then I would have been like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Well, there's certain lines and everything, but I think
Yeah.
when it comes to being self-conscious just about, like, if we're attractive or something, then it's
Yeah.
like, let's
Yeah.
give ourselves a lot of grace.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
show up. This reverting back to social media, you have to show up. I
Okay.
think a lot of people have been coming to me recently, and these are conversations I have even with clients now, but you have to show up, even if it's not the best ever video, right? Even
Yeah.
if it it's your first take and then you don't have time to do a second take, putting that out is usually gonna be better than putting nothing out.
Okay.
And
That
there's
right there is really good advice.
yeah, and I think there's the opposite. I would do wanna address that, Instagram people or whoever is saying that quality over quantity, but I think I'm saying community over
Mm.
absence. Is
Yes.
because especially for brands like you, perfection doesn't matter. We want
Yeah.
authenticity. A lot of the businesses I work with, authenticity matters more than perfection. So
Yeah.
that's like the quality of it is just you being there in a real way.
Yeah.
That's what quality is. So putting yourself out there matters way more because if you don't exist for your audience, then how are they gonna connect with
Well,
you?
how do they relate to you
Yes.
even?
Yeah.
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 And then my audience, I feel like are women 30 and over. I feel like it's kind of 30,
Yeah.
35-ish and over
Yeah.
and over. And I think that we have bad hair days sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah, we have bad anything days. Like I purposely wanted to sit here because I have a little acne spot, and I'm
Right?
like, and what we manage. We have to do life still, and
Yeah.
again, showing up is way, way, way more important
Then
than
not.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and showing up authentically, which
Yeah.
has also been a conversation about like what it means to be authentic on social media and
Yeah.
how to, which is kind of bizarre, but just showing up authentically means just being yourself. And I think that it
Yeah.
can be hard to be yourself to a camera because it's not a
Yes.
person. But
It's being vulnerable also though. It's like showing up
yeah,
authentically, being vulnerable, and then I think the fear of being judged because now it's like out in the world. It's
yeah,
like, am I even gonna post this? Who's gonna see
mm,
it?
yeah,
Is are my coworkers gonna see it? Is my neighbor gonna see
yeah,
it or whatever it is? And then it just I think that that's where the fear then you get stuck
hmm,
on being so afraid of being judged.
yeah,
Yeah. But then you judge yourself the hardest.
yeah, for
And then you
sure.
completely
Yeah,
stop.
I didn't
And
even not
then
even see your hair looking bad
no,
that
I
day.
know. I know. I was like, "Oh my gosh, my hair." But I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna post and
Yeah.
go."
No, nobody else noticed because, yeah, we are our hardest critics. And
Yeah.
I do acknowledge that a lot of people have the fear of being judged, and somehow I've separated myself. And so when I'm talking to other people and I'm just like, don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, that's not always going to work because you can't just say the thing and then
Yeah.
the other person's like, oh, okay.
Like,
So, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I think it just comes with practice and getting comfortable.
Yeah.
And again, if you really want it, if you care about your business succeeding,
Yeah.
if you care about, whatever your end goal is, then it'll happen and you'll have to do it. And that's just the way that it goes. Like we have to do hard things. And if the
Yeah.
hard thing is putting ourselves out there, that's a good thing to do, put yourself out there. So,
Especially if you're running a business, you have to
yes.
put yourself out there.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you wish people knew more about when it comes to social media?
that it doesn't have to be negative, I guess. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that, and it's true, like, social media can be toxic. You compare yourself to other people's lives, other people's appearances, other people's relationships. Maybe don't scroll as much as my first.
I will say also though, it's like, what are you looking for? So like for my feed, I look at a lot of
Yeah.
inspirational things and that's all that pops up. That's
Mhm.
all that I see. So I
Mhm.
don't see a lot of toxic things because that's not
Mm.
where I'm looking.
Mhm.
So it's almost like that saying like the red car, right? So if you're looking for
Yeah.
a red car, you'll find it's like if I
Yeah.
want to buy a van, a white van, I
Yeah.
will see a white van
Yeah,
everywhere.
everywhere.
So it's like, what are you looking for?
Right.
You will automatically attract what you're like,
Yeah.
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 So if you're looking at toxic things, that's
Yeah.
all the toxic things
Yeah.
that you're going to
That's
be
also
seeing.
not what you're on. Hopefully, if you're on
Right?
your business account, you're not
Yeah.
there to, like, scroll and compare and everything. You're there
Yeah.
to get your work done.
Yeah.
So this is, yeah, this is the thing I talked about with many people that hopefully can help whoever else is listening, but viewing it as like another work task. This is your marketing section of the day where you take on your social media as a marketing tool and you
Okay.
take it on as a task,
So it's
right?
like emails. I'm going to
Right.
spend 20 minutes doing my emails. I'm going to
Yeah.
spend 20 minutes doing my,
Yes.
okay.
And but marketing is probably like the most important thing
Yeah.
for a business, marketing and sales, from what have been seeing with all
Hmm.
of these business owners that I interact with. Because how are you going to sell anything if nobody knows about you and nobody
Exactly.
like has ever heard of you? So making it a task. And so, with specifically with Instagram again, because that's kind of where I specialize, is what you can break down into tasks. So engagement is important.
Okay.
So commenting, liking, and DMing, 10 minutes, right? Maybe
Okay.
start
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes, time yourself, go through your feed with the intention of being, I am a business owner engaging with these people. And it's
Who are
always,
potential customers.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's not like, hey, like commenting on people's thing, being like, hey, come shop, like at
Yeah.
my shop or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, reacting to whatever they posted, just being a person, but knowing
Yeah.
that you're doing it as a task for your business, but engaging authentically. So, engagement, content creation, you time block it off. That's kind of a bigger thing in terms of pre planning the content, filming it or photographing, and then planning it all out. It's not 10 minutes. But creating it like a business task that you
Okay.
can check off when you're done. And then, same with posting. And yeah, so coming at Instagram or any marketing or any social media as a business task and timing yourself or setting time blocking it as I'm going to do this for my business today, I think that might help so
Okay.
that it's separated from the social aspect because a lot of
Okay.
us still use Instagram to engage with our friends and
Yeah.
family. That's not what we're on here for in
Yeah.
this time block. We're here to
Yeah.
show up for our business. That might.
So so I had a friend tell me, she's like, Mops, you're like a one night stand. You post and go. Like, you're like, drop it and you're gone. And I'm like, okay, I did my task and I'm out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no. But she's like, you have to stay on. She's like,
Yeah.
I will message you and you won't even message back. And I saw that
Yeah.
you had just posted that one reel or whatever it is.
Hmm.
How important is it after we post to stay online and
Yeah.
engage?
What I'm hearing in the world of social media is to stay on for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
And this
That's not
also
bad.
impacts the performance of your post. So if you just posted a reel or a carousel or whatever, then you want to go and start engaging in your feed and DMing
Okay.
people. And the thing is that this is going to help push your post out.
Okay.
And part of my theory of that understanding beyond that it's just the algorithm is that your name, your profile name is showing up now in notifications and the likes and the
Oh,
comments and in
okay.
their DMs. So then maybe they'll click on you and they'll interact with your page because you've interacted with them,
Okay.
or you'll just get recommended because you interacted with this other profile and now you're linked
Okay.
in that degree. 10 minutes.
Okay.
Um, and in terms of like response time, because DMing people, I try to be super responsive as though I'm texting, like using
Okay.
the DMs
Okay.
as texting, and just like don't overthink too much about what you respond, maybe.
See, that was my thing though. And I remember you said, imagine this person is standing in front
Yeah.
of you. What would you say to them?
Yeah.
So, like, I remember you had told me, you're like, okay, if someone posted like they just had a new baby or something, like, what would you say if they were standing in
Yeah.
front of you?
Yeah. Just talk like you're a
I
person.
know. I
Yeah.
know. It just because
And
they
it get
are
yeah,
people, but
yeah,
it's just like, I think we just get so stuck in like, what am I going to say? What do I
yeah.
write? And
I still do too because sometimes honestly I'm tired. right?
Yeah.
So I can't communicate. I'm just like barely like awake or something. But usually exclamation points help because it just immediately makes you sound excited or something, and
Yeah.
emojis. But yeah, it's just like if someone was saying congratulations to you, what would you say? You would say thank you. Maybe if you have the mental capacity to
Okay.
ask them a question back,
Okay.
if they're in front of you and trying to talk to you. I wouldn't say that DM response time is super, super important because specifically for me, I prioritize your health and mental
Okay.
health. And some
Okay.
people have issues with always having to go back into Instagram to respond to DM
Okay.
after DM. So find your happy place, but
But that's why
no,
time blocking is so important
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're like committed like for an half an hour, 20
yeah,
minutes, whatever, during these certain times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe also if you can think about like, do you care about the person that's DMing you? Because if you do, then you'll feel compelled to talk to them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it can be business oriented, but it's also like these are real people on the other side. How are you going to show up for them? And
Yeah.
just reminding yourself of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I do know that when someone DMs me, it feels more like a one-on-one
Yeah.
conversation.
It is. It
Yeah.
is a one-on-one. Yeah.
It
They're
basically
reaching
is.
out to you and yeah, they're
In
talking.
today's world, that is a one-on-one
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. That's true. I see what you're getting at. But
Yeah.
yes, yeah, I think it's becoming like it's a part of
Yeah.
our hand. You know how they say like we're
Totally.
cyborgs now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I just think the bottom of everything or the root of everything is knowing that we're all people and
Mhm.
everyone craves connection.
Yes.
And
That to me is 100%, especially after the pandemic. People
mhm,
are really wanting connection.
yes, exactly. And so how can you show up and connect? And
Yeah.
when you do it in a way that's aligned with your brand and your
Yeah.
messaging and aligned with who you are and is authentic, people will connect with you. Some people will not connect with you. And then
Yeah.
you find your people and everything works out.
I think it's like I think to myself like how do I want this person to feel after they've
Yeah.
connected with me?
Yeah.
I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel seen.
Yeah.
I want them to feel heard,
Hmm.
So how do I want to make this person feel, whether they're
Yeah.
in person in front of me or if they're on
Yeah.
social media? I want them to feel like a friend, like they have a friend,
Yeah.
you know?
Imagine every username is just a person in front of you at
Yeah,
all times.
I will definitely get overwhelmed.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be like, "Ooh." I'll be like, "Lock me
You
up.
just
I
have
don't
like
wanna see anybody."
800 people standing in
Oh
front
my
of you.
gosh, yeah.
Okay, maybe I take that back, but just acknowledge that these are real people
Yeah,
on the other side.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, and then show up for your brand in a way that's gonna benefit your brand.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
and
Such great
yeah,
takeaways. I love
thank
this.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
What about reels? How important are reels
Mhm.
versus posts versus stories? Like, what do you think is the most important out of those? Carousels, reels, post stories, whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna stand on reels
Okay.
forever, probably.
Really?
Specifically because prefer video, but I think most people do anyway. So if you think about it, though, Instagram is in direct competition with TikTok, and
Okay.
TikTok is like video central. They
Yeah.
are videos like I don't even know the statistics about how many videos go out like per second or something,
Okay.
but they're video central. So they're directly competing with TikTok and other social media platforms, but specifically TikTok. So they push Reels. Reels are still the number one form of content to get pushed to non-followers, from what I understand. And from my own experience with all of the clients and profiles. And I think, what was the question? Like, is it most?
But I think about like, okay, what do I love? I love reels.
Yeah.
I don't like to create a reel,
Yeah.
but I love to watch all
That's,
the
yeah.
reels. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I love to like it's like a minute. Some of them are
Yeah.
like 45
Yeah.
seconds. It gives you like a just enough time to like kind of see what's happening and what it's
Yeah.
about. Yeah. Do you feel like just static photos are kind of like is that like the most least if you had to rank them? Number
So,
one being reels.
okay. In terms
What?
of importance,
Yeah.
oh, Reels,
Okay, so reels is one. What else? Stories?
stories. I was going to say that.
2,
Yeah. You
and
already
then
know.
no, I'm thinking, I know, and then what, 3 is like a
3 is
static photo?
carousels.
Well, 3 is carousels,
Carousels.
okay.
And so the other thing I'll say is Instagram at this very moment is prioritizing using all of their features. So they
Okay,
even just updated so you can do from 10 slides to 20 slides on a
okay,
carousel, which okay. But Like they're constantly updating these features and they want you to use them all is what I'm
Okay.
aware of. So they want you to do the single photos, they want you to do the carousels, thank you. They want you to do reels. And if you think about like if anyone questions whether reels are like the most important or not, there's a whole dedicated page to just reels.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and you can say, you know, the explore page is for the carousels, but there's reels on that too.
Okay.
So the explore page has reels and all the other things, and then there's a whole page dedicated just to reels.
Okay. Yeah, what are some do not do's for
Mm,
reels?
okay. Do whatever you want, but here's going to be like my pet peeves and things that I
Okay.
think the most basic level of do not do in a reel is have the black outline. So if it's a horizontal video and people post it in
Oh,
this vertical,
yes. Okay.
don't do that. People still
Okay.
do it and you can still have a successful video with it. It's a personal pet peeve and I think I have not found someone who is not bothered by it. It's basically what you're doing. Oh, I forget like the
I'm
term
cracking
for
up
it.
because you're like bothered by
Oh my gosh.
it.
Because it's like listen, they give you the aspect ratio, so just
Like,
do it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
You can't
Vertical,
see
people,
yeah,
vertical.
yeah,
Come
I
on,
know,
get
I'm
with it.
sorry. Actually, I had a client who's like, "A lot of my videos from that I can use, but they're all horizontal," and I was like, "Just honestly, just turn it." You know what I mean?
Okay, let's hope that
Some
wasn't me.
no, it wasn't. I would tell you, I'd be like,
Okay.
"So Mapu actually specifically" no. Yes. What is it called? But it's like whatever.
9:16 or something
No,
is
yeah, I
what
know
the
the aspect
ratio.
ratio, but it's basically like all of the formatting,
Yeah.
formatting foundations. Those are my
Okay.
pet peeves. So making sure that the aspect ratio is fitted, everything
Okay.
fits, and it's made for the platform. For
Okay.
YouTube, you're not going to post a vertical video and a horizontal thing unless you're
Yeah.
posting a short. You're going to do the horizontal. So formatting everything for the platform that
Okay.
you're using. Another pet peeve, which I don't know if this even matters anymore because I still see people doing it, but when your text is like covered by the icons or the caption, so it's like off screen. I know. Basically, when you're creating a reel, they give you lines
Okay.
on the editing
Oh,
page,
yeah.
and
Okay.
if you go beyond it, that's because you're gonna get cut off.
Okay.
Whether it's by the caption at the bottom, because when you're editing, there's no icons, right? Your username and the caption isn't shown up.
Okay.
But when you go to post it, all your information and everything is there, the likes button and everything.
Okay.
So when it's like covered or off screen, like stuff like that. Same
Okay.
thing with stories is people will put text all the way at the top of the story and then when they post it, it's covered by their username. Do you know what I'm
Ah,
talking
yes,
about?
I do know. It's
Okay.
because you're using it on the top left, and then you end up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
people put
Okay.
it
So
there.
best place to put the text would be where?
Okay, actually, yes, I just watched a
Like under
video.
the chin? Like, I mean, okay, so
Well, it
suppose
depends.
it, like, if you are going from the top of your head to
Okay.
your waist, the
Mhm.
best place would be around your chest area, correct?
Yes and no. It depends on how you frame the video overall. Because
Okay.
what if you have like a good amount of headspace, right? And then
Okay,
you can
that
center
bugs me,
it. You
even as
don't
a
like it?
photographer. No, it used to piss me off. Like, why is there so much space on top?
Right.
Unless you are doing it for the reason to
Yes,
create.
that's
Okay,
what I was gonna
okay,
say. Yeah.
okay.
The only reason that you should have
That
so much
much
headspace
headspace.
is if
Yeah.
you're gonna put
Okay,
something
yeah.
there.
Well, what
Yes.
bugs me is when there's so much headspace and there's nothing there, and I'm like, what's
Yeah,
happening up
yeah, yeah,
here?
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. It's not
yeah.
pleasing. But yeah, for any video though, usually whether it's like of a person or of a scenery or whatever it is, centered
Okay,
of and they give you the lines in editing for in any I think any editing app, but in Instagram, they give you the exact center of the video.
okay,
Just try to stick to that. Like
okay,
that's
okay.
I think your eyes, they go to the center of the video first,
Yeah,
so it just makes sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Your eyes will also go to whatever is the brightest on the
Right.
screen.
Right.
So if you have a lot of white
Mhm.
and you're a tan person,
Mhm.
your eyes are going to go towards the white wall. It's like whatever's
Mm.
brighter, your eyes go towards. Like, yeah.
I wonder if that's why they say to only use white text. I've never said this to you.
Oh,
I've heard this
maybe.
many times, but only use white text and don't ever use black text as like the coloring of the
Okay.
text.
Good tip,
Yes,
Sammy.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
tip.
I think for me I was like, "Oh, this makes sense. It's cuz it's aesthetic." But maybe it's because
I
it's
didn't even think of
brighter.
that. Maybe, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
because that's where your eye will go
Yeah.
first.
I don't know. I just if it looks good to me, then that's what I do.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
I'm also trained by years and years of like people
Yes.
telling you what looks good, and I'm like, so
Yeah.
now I'm on board with that.
So is there a point where, okay, so people telling you what looks good, but is there
Hmm.
a point like, what if you don't like it and you're like, no, I want to do this, or I want to do, I mean, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is your account.
Yes. That's another huge conversation about conforming, especially with
Yeah.
trends, you know, like when
Yeah.
dancing was a trend,
Yep.
never,
Not happening
yeah, no.
for me.
Um, yeah, we're not gonna, it doesn't align with the messaging per se.
Yeah.
Um, Conforming, I think give it your best shot. You know,
Okay.
like if
Yeah.
something is really calling to you and is really aligned in terms of like, I want to show up this way and it
Yeah.
goes against these rules, then who
Then do
cares?
you,
Do it.
boo.
Do it. Yeah. Cuz again, like people might be like I like that she shows up this way.
Yeah.
And then you're going to attract those people.
Yeah.
I think there are some baseline rules like showing up. Like if you're going to do the thing, you got to do it and you got to do it often and you
Yeah.
have to be consistent
Yeah.
or else they're not going to connect with you cuz you're not showing up enough for them. I think if conforming is your stuck point, just don't do it because
Okay.
it's going to be so much better for you to show up than to
Okay.
be mad
And
about
then
it.
just keep it going. Like if
Yeah.
it works, it works. If it doesn't work and you
Yeah.
don't like it, just be on to the next.
Yes, that's a huge thing as well. If it's not working, pay attention.
Yeah.
And so I think some people can remain in denial and be like, it's not my fault. It's this fault or this fault
It's
or
the
this fault.
algorithm.
Like, listen, people aren't connecting. Whatever it is about the form that you're doing or the messaging that you're saying, people aren't connecting. Look at your analytics or just pay attention. And if it's not working, then it's not worth doing. Then
Yeah.
it's not worth showing up.
Yeah.
Nobody's showing up back for you.
Yeah.
You don't need to show up that way. You got to shift. So I think, you know, something that we do together, but also that everyone should do is look at what's performing well.
Mhm.
And when I first met with you, what was performing best was when you post about your family. And
I
people
know.
love those
They
stories of
do.
you. And
Yeah.
I think because here in Hawaii specifically, family is huge.
Yeah.
Like community and family and neighborhood and like the culture. And when you posted about it, people showed up for you.
Yeah.
So, and paying attention. And so we turned that into like a business thing, but you know,
Yeah.
paying attention to what the numbers are saying.
Yeah.
And if a post is performing well, why did it perform well?
Yeah. So I know when I show up with my granddaughter Beja, that's the one
Yeah.
that's like, you know, because she lives right there in the front
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
I live in the back house. So I'm always with her. So it's just
Yeah.
easy for me to, out of all the grandkids, it's easy
Yeah.
for me to always record with her.
Yeah.
But I think it's maybe being relatable to
Yeah.
other women, you know.
Yeah. I think, first of all, she's got the best personality.
Oh my God. People will come up to me randomly and like,
She's
no,
a star.
yeah, I'm serious.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, or she, like, I'll be like, hey, I met somebody today
Yeah.
and they asked me about you. How come you're not on my Instagram anymore? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, girl.
That's what I mean. She's like the perfect person. But
Yes.
I think
yeah.
I saw a video of you with her and it really touched me because I don't often get to see you in the role of a mother. Like
Okay.
you don't have
Yeah.
your kids around you all the time.
Yeah.
We're in business
Yeah.
settings. And so it was you in this very family oriented role.
Yeah.
And it just was so heartwarming. I
Yeah.
was like, that's Mapu. And look at her
Oh.
being with her family. Like, it's just so nice because, yeah, I only really get to see you in business settings. And
Yeah.
I love you in this setting. And I want to love you in all the settings, right? And so that's probably everybody else wants to love you in all the ways.
There's a balance, so I feel like, because sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm showing, I don't only want to post about my family. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, my family doesn't even like to be on my Instagram.
Yeah.
My older kids that are in high school,
Yeah.
I'll take a picture with them
Yeah.
and like, they're like, do not
Yeah.
post that, mom. Do not. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the hell, guys? Come
Yeah.
on. And they're like, no, mom, do not post that.
If they're teenagers, they're in their own world. They don't want to be in
Yeah.
anyone else's.
No, they don't. They
Yeah.
don't. But I think I need to have a balance of like showing up in my personal
Yeah.
life. So maybe, okay, so give me a number. Like, what's a good balance? Because I feel like
Mm.
I'm good with numbers. So like, is
Yeah.
it maybe 15% family
Mm.
or is it 20, 80? Like, what do you think?
Specifically for you with the podcast and with the podcast being you empowering women,
Yeah.
I think showing up, not just family, but personal life is going
Okay.
to be like 70%.
No.
Yes.
Are you serious?
And I'm not saying
Here's
with-
all my fears, guys, coming to real life. 70%.
Okay, so
Really?
I'm just pulling that out of thin air right now
I
because
didn't know it was that important though.
it's not it's not you showing up with your family only, or
Okay.
it's just you showing up with your life. And what are you doing in your life?
Okay.
It's like behind the scenes of the podcast, right? So 30% is going to be the inspirational, motivational content and the podcast content and the community stuff and
Okay.
telling people like you're great and you're going to be awesome, all this kind of stuff. But they need to know why they care about what you're saying. And that's where the 70% comes in, right?
Okay.
Is like, I
So
care about what
interesting.
she's saying because look at who she is. Look at what she's doing.
And it's being relatable, like
Yeah, yeah.
to,
Because,
okay.
and it doesn't have to be family. It can literally be
Okay.
like,
Me cooking, it can be
yes,
whatever.
yeah.
Driving
Just
or,
who are
yeah.
you?
Okay.
And that's what I mean by the 70% is who are you? Show
Okay.
that, like 70% of the content, and then inspire the rest. Okay, maybe we can do 50-50 or 60-40, right?
Baby steps, girl.
Right,
Like,
right,
there we go,
right.
baby steps for
Yeah.
now.
But yeah, but I think it's really, really important to show up and be credible first.
Okay.
Because at least right now, especially because you're in the building stage of this
Of the
podcast. You launched
podcast,
it
yeah.
like not even a year ago. So you're in the building stage of showing who you are and letting people connect with you through these different modalities that you're showing up in.
Okay.
And then the other part is, what do you have to say? And
Okay.
that's the inspiration.
I think where I get stuck is like, I think to myself, like the reason I loved photography and why I loved doing podcasting is because I can tell your story, or I can take your photo and I can show. It's like, it's not never really about me. It's more about you.
Yeah.
But I think this here is like me stepping out of my comfort zone where I have to like,
Yeah.
now
It's about you now.
No, and I don't like it.
This is what you've chosen.
Right? I named it the Mapuana Read Show, guys. So it has to be
It is about
somewhat
you.
about me.
You know why though? Because you're the one bringing the people.
Yeah.
And you're the one giving the outlet for people to tell their stories. You were the photographer that was, giving the story.
Yeah.
I forget how you just said it, but you were the photographer. You're the interviewer. You're the podcaster. You're the conduit for bringing these stories
life.
out.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, it was always about like you. I'm sure nobody when you were a photographer hired you but didn't like you. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Because, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's hope.
Yeah. So it always is, it comes down to you, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are some businesses out there where people don't like maybe the founder, but the business still does great, and that's unique. But usually, businesses do well because the people behind them are good people. Hopefully, I'm right about that.
Yeah.
That's just what I like to
no,
believe.
I get it. Yeah.
So, and just for the more wider audience, that's very specific to you on how much you should show up. I think that's my opinion about how much you should show up. But like if it's a boutique like Make Aloha, like you don't need to show up that much. It's more about the products and the vendors and the boutique, right? Like we don't need your life story.
But I will say I love it when Gina does show up, and I do see her a bit like behind the scenes, or when she's putting together her beautiful boxes.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, look at that.
Talk about someone who does not want to be on camera.
Right? Me and her.
Yeah, it's people who are telling other people's stories, because Make Aloha she's focusing on telling other people's stories through the vendors that she picks.
Exactly.
So people who want to tell other people's stories don't feel comfortable showing up with themselves, but she doesn't need to that much. But just even her being in the video helps. Like there's a person. I connect with the person. I'm not connecting with a box. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's beautiful to look at because they are beautiful, but we're connecting with people. So I force her.
Yeah. But you do it in such a beautiful way. Even sometimes I know that you have to force me.
Yeah.
It's in such a loving, gentle way, but yet.
I hope.
No, it is. It's in a loving, gentle way with a push.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, come on.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's do this.
Because I think I'm a little bit more straightforward and blunt sometimes. I'm like, listen, you have to do it. Sorry.
Yeah. But then I think to myself, like, how am I expecting you to run my social media if I don't even want to get on social media myself? Like, I can't just be like, here, Sammie, here's my login and take over.
Yeah. I'm not, because, I'm not the person doing all of the things. I can't, Yeah. So it's important for you to show up specifically. And just, I don't know. I was just thinking of more social media things. Back to the Reels thing, though. I think everyone should be posting at minimum 3 Reels a week if you're a business.
3 Reels a week. Okay, we did that challenge with Amy. We said 10 Reels a month.
Yeah.
But this is 3 a week. I
I was
know.
looking at you doing that and I was like, girl, we do way more than 10 a month. Like, you don't need to worry.
That's all because of you, though.
Right. Well, I mean, the podcast helps
Yeah.
with like
Yes,
giving content
totally.
and everything,
Yeah.
but I think 3 reels a week, if you're
Okay.
serious about utilizing Instagram
Okay.
as a marketing platform, is the minimum.
Okay.
Um,
And what should we be talking about? Is it 3 reels talking about your business?
mm,
Is
it
it
depends,
three? Okay. Or
right?
is
Because
there also a balance in that too? Like maybe one is personal,
yeah,
two
this
is
is why it's quite difficult to give general information because
yeah.
going back to Mapuana Read Show versus Make Aloha,
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
So different. Completely different advice. That's why, the coaching that I do is like, I love it because I can individualize and personalize the information on like, when you ask this question, I'm going to tell you exactly what the answer is for you specifically.
Okay.
So in terms of like what type of content pillars help.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
If
Okay.
you don't know what content pillars are, it's just like the guidelines for what you should be talking about or what you want to be talking about with your
Okay.
Instagram, which for some reason I'm blanking on like examples, but inspiration and motivation would be one of your content
Yeah.
pillars. Marketing your
Community is another
events.
one
Yeah.
to build community.
Yeah. So, and having like 3 or 4, and then you're good. Um, yeah, every profile is so different, and that's why I think don't also just like take advice as though it directly applies to you, and that's like in life, right? Like,
Yeah.
but for social media or marketing or whatever, like don't take what people are saying as though it's the only truth.
Okay.
Make sure that you are dissecting,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
information and finding what is true and not true
Okay.
for yourself. That goes with everything in life.
Right?
With
Okay.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
Take
hard to
what you
say.
need.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
what use your own education and mind to
Yeah.
discern what is real and what is not real and what will work and not work.
Yeah.
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 So,
Such great advice.
thank you.
Okay. If someone wants to work with you, like tell me about are you well, I know right now you're closed for taking on new clients,
Hmm.
but if someone is thinking about like, hey, I have a small business
Hmm.
and I would love some help.
Yeah. I will be opening my coaching pretty soon.
Okay.
So because I max out there, but I'm going to open it back up and take on a few people, hopefully very soon. Definitely before the end of the year, and by
Okay.
next year, even more definitely. And the coaching is just, meeting weekly. I have a bunch of templates for content planners, marketing calendars, analytics trackers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We go through all of
Look
it.
at you, girl. I'm like, okay.
Okay, here's the thing
That's why I
though.
hire you because I know none of that stuff.
Well, and I think the benefit of coaching too is I stay with you throughout the whole thing. So in some sessions, I just make people's content planners. They're like, I have this idea, and then I break it down into a week's worth
Yeah.
of content, and then we go through each piece, and I love it. And I've gotten really good feedback from my clients that I'm really excited to continue leveling up the coaching program. So anyway, coaching management, I probably won't open up again.
Really?
And if I do open it up, because it's a lot. Like I pour
It
into
is.
these
It
profiles as
is.
much as I can.
You have 5 right now, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. 5 or
Okay.
6, but the 6th one I don't do like it's just posting, so there's not a lot of
Okay.
extra work there. If I did open up management, it would be for a friend with their business. So
Like I have to
wouldn't-
love you.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
for me to open this
yes.
up.
It would not go public that I would open a spot, I don't
Yeah.
think. But my long-term goal with the agency is to hire other managers.
Okay.
So
There you
that's
go.
my 3-year goal.
2025.
Okay.
Bring it
Okay,
on closer.
sure.
Why'd you say 3 years?
I know.
If Steph is
Okay.
listening, she's like, oh no,
I
you could
know.
do it sooner.
Okay, my 1-year goal is to at least have, because my 3-month goal right now is to hire a virtual assistant, and then my 1-year goal then will be to hire another manager. I think a manager that is good enough for working under the agency will be able to handle 3 accounts. So
Okay.
then we'll take those on. Coaching will open up soon. The last thing I'll say for working with me is I have one-off sessions. They're called social sessions.
Okay.
You get all of the templates that I just talked about for coaching, and basically whatever you need help with setting up your marketing, setting up your profile, talking about Instagram, literally anything around social media marketing we would talk about in the session for the 1 hour. And that's open all the time. And that's because I have limited booking availability, so I
Okay.
can choose when to take those on, but it's always open, and anything that you need in terms of social media marketing support, I will literally build out your entire content planner for a month if that's what you want in the session. So,
That is amazing. Like for someone who is just starting off with a business, or if you are already in your business and you
yeah,
just need some help,
yeah,
you offer these different levels of ways that you could help them.
yeah.
I love that.
Another two goals I have is to host networking events because I do best in person. Like I just love
Yeah.
hugging and like just connecting in person.
Yeah.
And then the other goal is to have a membership. So and I think I'm going to start this before the end of the year, but have monthly workshops
Okay.
where
Online?
yes, that
Okay.
anyone can tune into. Obviously,
Perfect.
it's a paid membership style thing. But just so anyone can get access to the information, and it's just maybe I can be like the one-stop shop for everything that you need to know social media marketing related.
I
And
love
then
that.
we'll get a Slack. I
Okay.
love Slack. I don't know why, but we'll get a Slack and there will be the community like area where you can ask questions, get feedback, or just
Okay.
connect with people. So
That's so
a
good.
lot of things going on.
Lots.
Yeah, and then I still have Bookhouse Hawaii, which
Right?
is
Yeah.
doing
Is
great.
Bookhouse Hawaii your passion project?
It they've both become it. I think
Really?
Bookhouse Hawaii was like I knew that I've wanted it forever. I want to open a bookstore cafe on the North Shore. That's
Oh,
like
yes, please.
that's my dream. That was my dream. But my dream is also like I have two dreams now, you know.
Yeah.
I want to grow the agency to
But why can't
be
you do both and then
yeah,
have
no,
your
I'm gonna
office
yeah,
in the
yeah,
coffee
yeah,
shop
yeah. I'm
yeah,
gonna go work for my own cafe bookstore.
totally.
I'm fully taking on both dreams with like no
Okay.
hesitation. I want to do nationwide for the agency and hire managers all over the nation.
Oh my gosh, girl,
Yeah.
look at
If it doesn't
you.
happen, it doesn't happen, but it's what I want and I'm gonna go
But why
after
not
it.
dream big? Why
Yeah,
not go
yeah,
for it?
yeah.
Yeah.
See if it happens, see if it works out, and if it
Yes.
doesn't, it doesn't. But
Yeah.
with Stephanie, the Goal Getters collab, like dream big, and like
Yes.
I feel like the bigger you dream, the closer you're gonna get to that, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you dream here
Yeah.
at the very, very top, as opposed to dreaming here, like you're gonna meet yourself here,
Yeah.
or maybe you'll meet yourself here, and you didn't hit the
Yeah.
dream, but you still went
Exactly.
further than what you could have done. I hope that made
Oh,
sense.
it makes
Okay,
total sense.
okay,
And I
okay.
think it's because I'm in the Go Getters
Yeah,
collab where
yeah,
I understand all of that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
my 3-year goal was to have in-person events, and
yeah,
now I'm moving that up. Now it's going to
yeah.
be my 1-year goal.
Sorry, I just
Yeah.
wanted to say because of people like you and people like the goal getters, and we just talked about community. Like, we talk
Yes.
about community all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not afraid to fail. Because, and maybe I'll get emotional right now, but I have a great support system of
Yeah.
people who both, thankfully, my family and also my boyfriend, and then even his family are just like the most loving people. People like you. I'm not afraid to fail because I know it'll be okay. That's a big stopping point, right? For people in social media or marketing or their business is like being afraid to fail. But when you have people that support you no matter what, maybe I'm like, the agency just goes downhill, everything crashes,
Yeah.
nothing works out or whatever. Like, I'm going to be fine and I'm going to figure it out because of people like
Yeah.
you.
You'll still have your community
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's such great advice. And that I think is why when I did my photography, I started off with my group, like my
Yeah.
family and stuff
Yeah.
first. Like I'd go to barbecues and take their photos.
Yeah.
And I like because I didn't care about failing.
Yeah.
All I cared more about was getting out there and growing.
Yeah.
And I still felt safe and loved regardless
Yeah.
if I like grew my business or if I completely sank it.
Yeah.
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 So that's why community is so important to
It
have.
is. And tying it all back to social media, but
Yeah.
social media is where you can foster large community.
Yeah.
And sorry, random like advice note, but like community for your business is super important.
Yes.
And that's like the whole thing with social media marketing is fostering a community. There's a profile who like their profile does not follow any of the rules of marketing, but they've fostered a community so strong that they don't need to follow the rules and they still do well. And maybe they can implement some other things to do even bigger and better that you know are on trend or conforming, but they do well because they fostered community. That's what your end goal is, to get people to like your business, and then that's when they end up supporting your
And
business.
be social. So that's
Yeah.
why it's called
Yeah.
social
Yes,
media.
that's what I say all the time. Be social. It's called social media. Yes.
It's not called scroll. Scroll
Yeah.
media.
Yeah. It's not called ghost media where you just don't show up.
or one night stand media.
Yeah, yeah. I've never heard that. You've heard the term ghost and post? Have you heard that?
No.
Oh, that's
Is
like
that like what I do
yeah.
sometimes? I
That's what
Post
it's
and
called.
ghost? Oh, okay.
That's like
Well,
the
she said one night
yeah.
stand, but I was like, she's like, you hit it and you gone. That's what she told me.
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. She's like,
That's
that's what
like
it feels like.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you're one night standing people. That's
I was
so
like, I
funny.
wouldn't know that. Maybe she does.
Yeah.
But
Well, I feel like it's a more common term now, but it's called ghosting and posting. Or
okay.
posting and ghosting. I think I just reversed that.
Yeah,
Either
posting. Yeah,
way,
posting and
now
ghosting
it's
makes
called the one
sense.
night stand. So,
Right? Yeah, we're just gonna make up
yeah.
our own little
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Hit it and go.
yeah, I'm totally going to tell all of my clients
Right?
don't just hit it and go. Don't be a one night stand woman.
Right. Be social.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so yes, that's how you connect back with me. Sam's Social Agency. I don't have an Instagram right now because I'm focusing on all the client Instagram. samsocialagency.com is just where everything lives.
Perfect. Okay. What about Bookhouse? Do you have the Bookhouse?
Bookhousehawaii.com or Bookhouse High on Instagram. And that is a mobile thrifted bookstore right now with a very active book club. We are very chatty, do lots of things together. That's
That
here
is
on
awesome.
Oahu. So we're more in person for that. But for Sam's Social Agency, that's like anybody, anywhere I could do. So
I love it.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
here.
Thank you for having me.